Hello. Having talked about the lack of rain yesterday and just how dry and hot it's been here for some weeks, this morning, shortly before 6 AM, it started raining and it carried on until about after 8. So a couple of hours of rain, and looking in the buckets that I've left out to collect some rain, well, this really isn't going to do very much. I'm going to tip it into another bucket so you can see just how much rain we had. Two hours and probably an egg cup full. So it was very fine rain, and what we could really have done with was a whole day or possibly 2 days of it just coming down really lightly and steadily, and so it would actually soak into the ground and get down to the roots of the plants. But I'm not complaining because any little bit of rain is going to be better than none, and what it will have done is refreshed the leaves of the plants, washed all the dust off them, and already plants are going yay. It's a little cooler today, although obviously I'm still in a t-shirt, so it's not that cool, but that's something to be celebrated. And looking at the weather forecast over the next couple of weeks, there will be some more rain, and so hopefully over the various days of a little bit more rain each time, it will start getting into the ground and giving the plants a drink. Many plants in the garden, the rain is just coming too late, so most of our broad bean harvest is just dead. Not enough moisture deeper down in the soil, so it hasn't formed deep roots, and then it isn't able to survive the lack of rain. The broad beans have also been hit really hard by black fly this year, but we have masses of ladybirds now, but even the ladybirds, a lot of them look like they're dying, and I'm assuming that's just from a lack of moisture. And so the very few broad beans that we have managed to grow are going to be very welcome this year, and also going to feel quite special. There's only a very few pods. They're all lower down on the plant where the first set of flowers were. This one has got some from its first set of flowers and some from its second, but it's only 2 of each. And my guess that the reason that they haven't formed beans all the way up is it's just been too hot to set flowers. So some of them haven't flowered at all, others have flowered, but it's just been so hot they haven't been pollinated by pollinators who aren't going to come out in that fierce heat. Oh, hello little ladybird. Little ladybird larva. Surprisingly, some of the plants have done most well and coped with the heat and the lack of water most well are the brassicas. And I'm not sure whether that's because they were planted quite early and they were watered in well and they had a lot of rain to start with, so they formed a good root ball and roots went down, and they'd already got really well established before it got very hot. And I also think maybe having this netting over them has created a microclimate where it's about 50% shaded, so the sun isn't as harsh on them, and also it may not get quite as hot in there if some of the heat is being shaded out, so there's been less evaporation. The other thing is, because they're very big leaves, they're shading the soil and stopping the water evaporating from the soil that way. Whatever it is, they're doing amazingly. I'm really pleased with them. All the cabbages in this bed are starting to form a heart now, so they're getting nice solid centres, and I'm pretty convinced now that the reason for this is because I firm them in so much when I plant them. So I plant them and I firm the soil around them, and I firm it again, and when I think it can't be firmed anymore, I firm it again, and so they're not suffering any windrock. But it could just be an old wives' tale, but I would like to think all that careful planting means that they're forming these lovely, lovely heads of cabbage. Mr. J and I are delighted to see that this channel is heading towards 3,000 subscribers. Thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed. And shortly after it hits the 3,000 subscriber mark, we will be doing a giveaway. So do watch out for that. I'd love you to be involved with that giveaway. Earlier in the year we had quite a lot of broody chickens, 4 of whom we gave eggs to allow them to hatch. Well, all 4 of them are broody again, and all resolutely fluffed out and flumped in a nesting box, desperately wanting to hatch some eggs. And I'm not overly keen to have yet more chicks around, but it might be that the only way we can break their broodiness is to do that. Usually I put them into an isolation cage where they've got plenty of air flowing around them, and it cools them down. There's no nesting box for them to sit in, and after a few days it's broken the broodiness. Well, I've tried that, but it's just so warm at the moment and there is so little breeze. They're not cooling down, they're just staying broody. So I don't really know what the answer is. We have got some duck eggs in the incubator which are due to hatch in about 10 days or so, and we could pop those under the chickens, but I don't know enough. I need to do a bit more research as to whether it's okay for a chicken to raise a duckling, and will it teach it the right behaviour. And I'm not very keen on the idea of letting them hatch something and then taking the babies away after a couple of days, because I don't know what psychological trauma that will have, and I don't really want mad chickens. They're potty enough as it is without adding to their issues. So I'll think on that a little bit more, I'll do a bit more research, and I'll let you know my conclusion. While I'm out here in the garden, there are a few things I want to show you that I've been really surprised at and I'm really pleased about. And the first of those are several trees that we bought in November 2016, and we bought these from a food supermarket who were selling bare rooted trees at £4.75 each. Which is very, very cheap, and at the time I was looking at paying about £20 per tree for a tree that was maybe a foot taller. So we thought, well, I'm not going to pay £20, I will pay the £4.75, buy a whole load of trees on the basis that probably, several of them will die. Well, they haven't. We bought 17 trees, I've lost 3 out of the 17, and I've been delighted. And they have been fruiting. So we had 4 cherry trees, and of the 4 cherry trees, 2 have fruited this year, enough for me to actually be able to pick a few. The ducks have had quite a few of them because the branches are very low, but here in the food forest, this little cherry tree has been wonderful. And this cherry tree has grown from about this height and filled out and has produced about a pound of cherries this year. I am so pleased with it. It's a lovely, lovely shape. It's rounded, it's full. Yes! So the fruit trees are very much a success in our garden. I'm really pleased. Well, that's it for me today. I'm heading inside to get on with some chores indoors. And so, wherever you are in the world and whatever you've got planned for today, I hope it's a good one. And I also hope you'll join me again tomorrow.